Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel English with Bala Visalakshi. We are doing parts of a speech. I have completed noun in my previous video and today I am moving on to the second part, that is pronoun. Right? Sita has gone to the computer class. Sita is studying a new language. Both the sentences are about Sita. So I need not repeat Sita again. Instead, I can say Sita has gone to the computer class. She is studying a new language. Okay. Birds are flying. Birds are flying in groups. Instead of repeating birds again, I can say birds are flying. They are flying in groups. If I wanted to be more concise, I can say birds are flying in groups. That will be even clearer and concise. So this is what is pronoun. Pronoun is a word which is used instead of a noun. Pronouns replace nouns and they help to avoid repetition of the nouns. They enable clarity of what we are trying to say or read, and also they help us to make the matter concise. For example, the dog barked loudly. It scared the thief and awakened the inmates. Right? So I'll move on to the parts of pronoun. Personal pronoun. For this you must understand first person, second person, third person. I, first person. We, plural form of first person. Right? Then you, second person. He, she, they, third person. This set will come as a subject in a sentence. Me, us, first person. You, second person. His, her, them, third person. This will come as the object in a sentence. It is a third thing. Okay, a lifeless thing. So I'll just use this in a sentence so that you will understand how it is used as subject and object. He invited us for a party. He has come as a subject. Us has come as the object of this sentence, where invited is a verb. Right? Then they called you. A very simple sentence. They. It has come as a subject. You. It has come as the object. You will come as subject and object. We left it in her room. We has come as a subject. It, an object. In her room. This is in, we left it. Right? Where? In her room. Indirect object. Her. Right? Then I had an eye on them. I has come as a subject and them has come as an object. So keep in mind, personal pronouns talk about all this. This set will come as subject and this will come as object in a sentence. Next is possessive pronoun. To understand the meaning of possessive, I'll just give you a small example. The father gets a lot of toys for the little one. The little one now is all set. The child thinks it is mine, right? So when someone comes and asks the child for the toy, the child immediately says, no, it will keep the toy at the back. That is the best example for possessiveness. See, we buy a new car, we are proud that it is ours. We build a house, we are proud it is ours. Our athletes win elsewhere. The national anthem is played over there. We are so proud. That feeling of pride is got when we think it is ours. That is possessiveness, right? So for each of the pronoun, there is a format or a form in which how to use the possessive pronoun. For example, I, mine. This book is mine. We, ours. It's ours. You, yours. This pair of shoes is yours, right? He, his. This tennis racket is his. Then she, hers. The shield is hers. Then they, theirs. The trophy is theirs. So all these are possessive forms. It, its. Normally it's, we will not use it more as pronoun possessive, but we will use it as possessive adjective. We say the snail has a hard cover. Its cover is hard. Okay. So understand this, how it is used. Next we'll move on to reflexive and empathetic pronoun. For both reflexive and empathetic, self and selves will be added to singular and plural respectively. Okay. Right. Now reflexive pronoun, it refers to the object of the sentence. Myself comes as the object, yourself comes as the object. But this object receives the work done by the subject. Okay, I worked myself. It points out to the subject again. When the subject and the object are the same, it becomes reflexive pronoun. It refers to the same person. It becomes reflexive pronoun. I worked myself. Then when does it become empathetic pronoun? Empathetic over here means emphasizing more on the subject. Here it is a receiver. Here it emphasizes more on the subject. I myself had to do it. I think you'll understand the difference between both. I worked myself, right? I myself had to do it, right? So the way you pronounce it will make you understand the difference between both. Similarly, yourself. You explain it yourself. This is the verb. So here it's a receiver, refers back to the same subject. You yourself can explain. Okay. Then ourselves. Because it is plural, we add selves, right? We read the lesson ourselves. Right? The students sat together and they read it themselves. Here, we ourselves read the lesson. Okay. Then, himself, he said so in himself. He himself said so. Similarly, for herself, she has landed herself in difficulties. She herself has landed in difficulties. If you understand, listen to my pronunciation, you'll understand the difference between both reflexive and empathetic. Themselves, they admitted the fault themselves. They themselves admitted the fault. Right? So here the emphasis is given to the subject. Here the object receives the work done by the subject. So it goes back to the same subject. Right? So next we come to demonstrative pronouns. Keep in mind, we should be very careful with the usage of pronouns, especially when we talk, so that clarity will be there. And even now we are confusing between he and she. In the place of he, she is there. In the place of she, he is there. So be very careful when you are using especially pronouns when you communicate. Now demonstrative. Normally when we say demonstrative means pointing out to something. In your kindergarten section itself when we studied, I want all of you to recall. This, they'll point out like this. That, they'll say to something that is very far. Similarly, demonstrative, pronouns point out to nouns. Nouns, objects. Okay. So here, this, that, near and far, these refer to a group of objects that are near you and those refer to a group of objects that are far away from you. This is the present from my uncle. It must refer to the noun. Then that is the red fort. We are pointing out to the red fort which is a noun. Right? These plants will flower well. Right? We are referring to the plants near us which will flower well. Then here, those are seedless fruits. So please understand how it is used over here. Right? Next we'll move on. Next we move on to interrogative and relative pronoun. Interrogative means asking questions. Relative, the word by itself says that it is trying to tell you what is the relation between two things which we are talking of. Right? So, you may wonder why I put these two together. The same words are used to introduce interrogative and relative pronouns. What, which, who, whom and whose. But the way they have introduced is different. For example, I'll take this one. Which are your books? Which is used because we are asking something about the books, but it's talking about the pronoun or the noun. That is very, very important. Which are your books? Okay. But here see how which is used. The horse which I recently bought is white in color. The word which is showing the relation between the horse is white in color and I recently bought. Which says the horse which I bought recently is white in color. It shows a relation. That is why we call it as relative pronoun. Right? Then here you take the word who, whom, whose. See, you have to keep in mind because this is quite confusing. Who means yar, who means yarudan, whose means yarudaya. Right? Now, we can use a word. Who were you talking to? Whom did you see? Whom did you talk to? Right? Whose books are you using? I think you would have got this. Right? Same way, this can be used in a sentence over here. You can say for a relative pronoun, this is the boy whose bag I found in the playground. Okay. So you remember when I say relative pronoun means that word will give connection between two sentences, but here it introduces it is used to ask a question. Okay. Then finally we come to indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronoun means, indefinite means we don't know. We don't know the end. We don't know the person. We don't know the object. We are not able to specify something. It's not specific, right? And the words used for that are several. Several people were seen in the ground. Okay, we don't know who. We are not specifying who. Many, few, either, neither, anybody, somebody, nobody. All these words are used as indefinite pronouns. I'll just give you two examples. Somebody has stolen my watch. We don't know who. Somebody. Similarly, either of you can go. Any one of you can go. Right? So, with this we come to the end of pronoun. Again I am repeating, use the pronouns properly while you communicate so that there will be clarity in the message you want to convey. Please subscribe if you like my videos.